name is Blake Burrows. I'll be doing mine on technology. So a professor in psychology of MIT named Sherry Turkle has studied technology for 15 years and has done hundreds of interviews with people on technology. She found out that our devices are so psychologically powerful that they take control over us. I myself have seen this happen to myself, others in my life, and find it disturbing. My proposition is the growth of technology has damaged relationships. And my three supporting claims are: 1, technology has negatively affected relationships between parents and children. 2, technology has negatively affected relationships by being addictive. And 3, technology has negatively affected romantic relationships. So my first supporting claim is that technology has negatively affected relationships between parents and children. A man named Jim Taylor, who has a PhD in psychology, explained that one study found that when the working parent arrived home after work, his or her children were so immersed in their technology that the parent was greeted only 30% of the time and was totally ignored 50% of the time. So these children are so attached to their phones and electronics that they don't even realize that their parents have come home. And many families have been affected by technology, by the use of their electronics. These products that children use for entertainment limits their availability to communicate with their parents and others. Another study done by Jim Taylor stated another study reported that family time was not affected when technology was used for school. It did hurt family communication when used for social reasons. So children basically only talk to their parents when they need help with their schoolwork, so with homework projects and things like that. The use of technology has given children another opportunity to use their electronics. This creates a separation between the parent and the child. My second supporting claim is technology has negatively affected relationships by being addictive. A doctor named Alex Lickerman stated the problem, however, comes when we find ourselves substituting electronic relationships for physical ones or mistaking our electronic relationships for physical ones. So in our generation, people have problems finding a relationship or keeping their relationship because of technology. People find it difficult because they're used to having human interactions on their electronics, like with Facebook, Twitter, things like that, and instead of having face-to-face conversations with others. Another study by a professor in psychology at MIT, Sherry Turkle, does a TED Talk and explained about a 50-year-old businessman who mentioned to her that he feels he doesn't have colleagues anymore at work. When he goes to work, he doesn't stop by to talk to anybody, he doesn't call. He says he doesn't interrupt his colleagues because he says they're too busy on their email. He says, I'm not telling you the truth. I'm the one that doesn't want to be interrupted. I feel like I should want to, but actually I'd rather just do things on my BlackBerry. So what Sherry Turkle is explaining here is that people want to be in control of their lives and decide when and where they want to have conversations with other people, or they would just want to be on their phones talking to their friends or family members instead. My third supporting claim is technology has negatively affected romantic relationships. A psychologist named Brandon McDaniel did a study and found that 33% of women said their partner checks his phone during meal times that they spent together. 25% of the women said their partners actively text other people during the couple's face-to-face conversations. So this study that Brandon McDaniel did was on 143 women, and out of these 143 women, 70% of them said that technology has interfered in their relationships. So, and then another study by a man named Kenneth Gergen, who was in Nancy Bame's book, describes us as struggling with the challenge of absent presence, worrying that too often we inhabit a floating world in which we engage primarily with non-present partners despite the presence of flesh and blood in our physical location. So Kenneth Gergen is explaining here that some partners are not present mentally in a conversation with others, like their spouse, because they're on their electronics while the spouse is talking to them. These situations create problems in romantic relationships because the partner doesn't feel appreciated by their spouse and may choose to leave them over time. My conclusion is that technology has been huge in our day of age with like advertisement, social media, and things like that. And I know we all love like electronics. I myself love electronics, and I think it would be good maybe like kind of leave those alone and have a conversation, because over time that will build up our communication skills. Thank you.
All right, Blake. By the way, I like the summary and the exit. I think that last section helps your delivery quite a bit, even though you had a couple of spots where it was maybe a little shaky. You're kind of looking away and doing some reading toward the end. You come across a little bit more sincere. Perhaps it's a little practice and mannered, but I thought it worked pretty effectively. The propositions clearly identified. There's an excellent layout of what the supporting structure is going to be. You signpost those points in the body of the speech, so you're doing a good job there. I do see that there's a tendency to explain what the issue is, and there's not as strong an effort to demonstrate that it is in fact having a big impact. The closest that you get on any of these points to an impact statement is that, you know, some of the women replied in this survey that they were unsatisfied with their relationship. And that's as far as it goes. Most of the time it's just, well, we have data that says they're checking their phones while they're engaged in a relationship, or the kids don't greet their parents when they walk in the door. But you kind of equivocate that with, therefore they don't have a solid relationship. You know, I don't know how true that is. My kids didn't have all that technology. They hardly ever spoke to me when I walked in the door. So I don't think you want to jump to that conclusion. I think you've got an argument here, but you need follow up on those individual points. I think you do a good job explaining and describing what people perceive as the problem. What you need is follow up that shows that those problems are significant or important. Everything, there's any action that you take has a consequence to it. The question is, how important is that consequence? And I don't think that you've found a way quite yet to measure it, just to describe it. So I think that's the main issue that I have with the information that you have in your speech. All right, thank you.